Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and boy do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now, let me see if I pronounce this correctly, Lisa Hinds, or is it Lisa
Right
Hinds?
on.
Hinds? Okay. Lisa Hinds, and she has been in a number of indie horror films, including Steffi and Night of the Tommyknockers, Mrs. Parker from Scream Bloody Murder, Nurse Geraldine in Arena Wars, Molly Brown in Werewolf Cabal, and she has an unknown role that we're going to be working on tonight to get her in 72, which is me and Carl's movie. So that's exciting. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Scotty. And I'm so excited about your project.
I'm really excited to have you on board. I know that you donated, and we are grateful for that. We truly are, and I am very honored to have you on here. You are a part of some pretty big indie films, and that's really exciting. And I would love to promote, obviously, not just 72, but all of their films as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's really nice.
Not a problem. So the first question I didn't have on the list that I sent over to you that I forgot about, that I thought about when I was like, oh, I forgot to ask that. So tell us a little bit about your company that you have going, that you all work for.
Oh, my day job.
Yes.
My day job. I work for an energy company.
Okay.
I'm chief of retail operations.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So it keeps me really busy. Really
Yes.
busy. And basically the job is 24/7.
Okay.
So honestly, when I'm away on sets, and I'm waiting, as you know, on sets, we wait for, 8 to 10 hours to film. It could be you're at the end of the day, but you're there at 9 a.m., right? So, I'll be sitting there working on contracts.
Okay, nice.
Right. So, so when I'm away, I'm still doing my day job, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Now, do you have a production company as well?
We do. Barker Street Cinema.
Okay.
They're in Prince George, British Columbia.
Okay.
And I worked on a Dollar Baby film with them.
Okay.
The Doctor's Case. It was a Stephen King Dollar Baby. Okay. And it was the only period piece that Stephen King did. So it was Sherlock Watson.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So we filmed it Craig Durrock Castle in Victoria, British Columbia, and it was horses and carriages and costumes. And awesome. We had full run of the museum, 3 stories, overnight, right? Nice. It was incredible. Yes. Yeah. And so I worked so well with them that when they decided to, let's say, incorporate the partnership, I was invited to be a partner.
That's awesome. Really
right. So we have a lot of things that we're working on. And basically what they did, it's in northern BC. So they're trying to bring people to their community to film. Okay. Right. To nourish their community. Right.
Yep.
So that's wonderful. So once all this pandemic stuff is behind us with Canada, then I'll be able to go there and film. So, and I haven't been able to do that. And they got just finished 2 movies.
Okay.
All
right,
in the last.
Awesome. So how did you get your start into acting in the indie films?
Well, that's interesting. I was in the con world for about 5 years, right? So I worked conventions in a concierge capacity. So I got to know a lot of the talent. Right. So I was at a convention in Atlanta, and Robbie Mell was there. And I said to Robbie, what's up next for you? He had just finished on the last season on the new X-Files, right? When they rebooted the X-Files. And so I said, what's next? And he goes, we just finished writing a movie and we're almost halfway through raising the money to make it, called Code 8.
Nice.
And he's like, Lisa, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. And he's like, well, I wonder how far that is from Toronto. So of course I got my phone out and I'm like, hey, it's only 7 hours away.
Not bad.
And my best friend, Michelle Hill, she and I do a lot of films together. And so anyway, and I said to Michelle, geez, you want to go to Toronto over the 4th of July and film in Code 8? And she's like, I'm in. And then my 2 daughters came as well. So we were all in Toronto filming on Code 8. That was, yeah, it was incredible. That's how I first found out that you could do this, was when Robbie told me that. And so then after that, I found my first Stephen King dollar baby. And of course, I grew up 45 minutes from Stephen King. I'm from Maine.
Wow. Nice.
Okay. So I'm a King fan. You know,
I love Stephen King.
No understatement there. So I've been in 3 of the Dollar Baby projects because that's just really close to my heart, you know.
Right.
And that he does that for filmmakers, you know, they can lease it for $1, make a movie. Yeah. It's a great program.
Yeah, really, it is.
Yeah. So yes.
So you said you're from Northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm also from Northeastern Pennsylvania. Obviously, that was probably a big selling point of 72. You don't have to fly in. But where are you from in Northeastern Pennsylvania, if I may ask?
In a little town just below Binghamton, New York.
Okay.
So north of Scranton.
Okay.
Called Montrose.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I heard of that.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So it's country and cows and cornfields, and you know.
I'm from Ashland, Pennsylvania, and we'll be filming in the Pottsville. Not a lot of people mistake it for Pottstown, but it's Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah. Because I looked it up, and I think it was like a half an hour and a half from my house.
Yes, it's not far at all.
It wasn't far at all. I was like, wow. And I just happened to be on one day last week looking. And I came across your movie.
Yeah.
And I read the synopsis and I was like, right, I got a little excited. And so obviously I messaged you guys immediately, which were so prompt. I mean, I got my message back in seconds because that's my first question is, you know, where y'all filming, right?
Right.
And so it all worked out, you know.
That's one way I definitely love running my company is I love to run it where if you send us a message, if it's like at 1 a.m., don't expect an immediate answer, but
no.
It's a day type of thing. I like to have responses, especially if there are answers that we already should know, like immediately, you know, responded to within the hour at least. Because it makes for good customer service. It makes good, you know, it keeps our fan base interactive. It makes people that want to, you know, help support us. It makes people that want to be involved, and we really would like to have, you know, that customer service and that you know, that engagement to our fan base.
Oh, it does, and it makes it easier for me to make a decision right away.
Absolutely.
Especially like I have a lot of filming dates coming up. Right. So I have to check first and go, hey, you know, I don't want you to give me any trade secrets. Right. But can you tell me, you know, a window that you're filming to see if I can, you know, get in. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And we were able to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't wait for the film. As you said, I do not have my role assigned yet, you know, so I'm really looking forward to that and looking at my character.
Yes.
But I'm really excited. It's going to be so much fun.
It will.
And
it really will.
Yeah. And the thing for me is I just, I love to be on movie sets, right? And I love to meet new people.
Yes.
And I like to feel like I'm part of the family, you know, and that's what I like about indie films.
Yes.
You know, you go on and it's like family. And
we are a small indie community. We're an indie family. We really are.
Yes. And it's so important to help these indie films get made.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a little bit, even if you can only share it on your social media.
Yep.
You know.
Exactly. And it doesn't cost anything to share, you know, the page. Your one share can equal the 5, you know, new donations, and it can
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you go, hey, you know, you're gonna get a DVD, you know.
Yep.
And whether it's a, you know, $30 perk or whatever, but you know, you're first on the list to get your DVD or poster or, you know, they have small enough perks, you know, that you can at least get a little bit in there, or $1 or $5, and every little bit helps. People don't realize just a little bit can make a huge difference for one of these projects.
Yeah, one thing we do with our, like, if you donate $250 or you do donate the $5 perk, we always give the same type of shout out to everybody, because we don't care how much or how little you donate. Your $5 could mean that, we have enough blood or we don't have enough blood. Like that
Mhm.
$5 is a big help, like whether you know that or not, because if we get, 10 people to donate $5, you know what I mean? Like there's, $50 type of thing.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So
Yeah. And
so
you can buy
yeah,
another prop. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you look for personally when contributing to an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign for indie horror films?
well, I've been doing it probably 4 years now.
Yeah.
Um, horror is my genre. Uh, okay. However, I do love period
Okay.
pieces, right? So, you know, what was it? Prejudice Zombies. Remember that? Pride and Prejudice Zombies.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I love that.
When that came out, my husband's like, Lisa, that's right up your alley.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
And
Yes.
I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
right? So I love zombies,
Mhm.
right? Uh, so the other thing that I look for is who's doing it.
Mhm.
And I do a little bit of research
Mhm.
before I, donate.
Right.
Um, uh, and if I had to say anything to anyone, going in doing this for the first time,
Mhm.
make sure you just research a little bit,
Yeah.
who you're backing, the projects, um, that it's going to work in your time frame.
Yeah.
And that's just coming from my own experience and people that I've talked to, on different sets, and they were like, oh, I couldn't get into that movie, the date
Yeah.
changed, like, so it's nice to just have those things in mind
Yeah.
when
Absolutely.
when you're looking for one, and know what genre you want to be in.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, we are the indie horror family, but there are other movies that look for crowdfunding campaigns outside of the horror genre. There's like the
Mhm.
dramas, the romances, the rom-coms and all that stuff. So definitely, if you aren't into the horror genre, go and support a romance or a comedy or a drama or any of those type of films that need help getting backed. And because I mean it isn't cheap to make a movie. It really isn't cheap. And when we did our first film, like it wasn't the greatest film because it was our first film. We made mistakes and we didn't have a budget. We had an Indiegogo. Nobody really knew us at the time, so we only made like $200. I spent $6,000 of my own personal cash from my paychecks just to make
Wow.
that movie over the course of like a year or so. So like it got made. It wasn't the greatest, but now we have a budget, we have money aside, and we have money from this Indiegogo, so we are able to make a good movie now.
Yeah, and you've learned, and
We've
that's it.
learned.
Every time
Yep.
and that's one thing that I say. Like people ask me, how is it to be on a set? Different
Mhm.
sets, and I'm like, every set that you're on, you learn something.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes you're waiting 8 hours to
Mhm.
film. Meanwhile, you get to
Absolutely.
go watch the other filming. So you're
Absolutely.
learning from other actors. You're
Yeah.
you're you're watching the setup for the scenes,
Yeah.
how the cinematographer is setting this up, what it's
Yeah.
going to look like. Um,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of the fun also.
It
I make it,
is. It is
to
like, and there's so many different parts that you can learn from filmmaking, from the on the screen as an actor, to on the screen as an extra, because there's two totally different things: the leading roles, supporting roles, the minor roles, the extra roles, and then from the behind the scenes, from the director's standpoint, and the cinematographer standpoint, the producer standpoint. So there's so many different levels you can learn in filmmaking from just being on a set, and you could be on 50 sets and you still learn something new on the 51st.
Oh yes, and so many people I've watched just in 4 years like move through the ranks,
Yeah.
right? And now they're an AD, and before they were just an extra on a set,
Yeah.
and they're moving up, and I love watching that.
Absolutely.
People get to make their passion happen,
Absolutely.
and it's amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. So, what part of being an actor do you believe is the most fun, and what is the hardest?
The most fun is being on set, um, meeting new people,
Yeah.
um, um, learning from actors,
Yeah.
right? Other actors.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't have any training, any
Right.
formal training, to be an actor. So, I love that.
Yeah.
I love people that'll work with you. And one actor in particular, Robert Lasardo, he's so wonderful to work with, and he teaches you. He's incredible. So yes, I love being on set, love meeting new people, and love discovering my character and how that's going to work out. And what was the second part of that question,
And
Scotty?
what would be the hardest part of being an actor? Like, what's the hardest?
The elements.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I was on a Dollar Baby filming down in Allentown 2 years ago in January, and of course, if you live in the Northeast, you'll remember this. We had a block of 2 weeks where it was below zero.
Ooh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
So we were filming in that block overnights, and I was a vampire, so I'm in a t-shirt covered in blood. And we're filming overnights, right? And it's 10 below. And so
that was
we're
a
out.
cold
Oh
block.
my God.
Oh my God, that was a cold block.
Gosh. You know, fortunately, at least I bought like heated socks, battery operated like heated socks, and I was ready for it. However, when you're standing outside in 10 below in a t-shirt, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah. You can prepare as much as you want. You're in a t-shirt and 10 below, you're not gonna be getting warm.
And so the camera equipment kept freezing up. So they'd have to take the camera equipment in the tent, thaw it, bring it back out. You know what I mean? So it starts, stops, starts up. So then last summer I was on Bloodthirst in Nelson, Nevada, out in the desert in July. And it was 118 degrees. And they were filming there for 3 weeks. And I was there for 2 of those weeks. And look, there is no relief there. And honestly, when you're from the Northeast, right, and it's a hot date or a hot day, you go down in your basement and you can feel the temperature change.
Yeah.
Well, out there we were filming in the basement, and it's hotter in the basement than it is outside. So yes, we've been in so many different. We were filming Tommyknockers in Landers, California, at White Horse Movie Ranch, and it's kind of in the high desert, right? And then it would snow. So, they got to film the next day, and now there's snow on the ground. There can't be snow on the ground.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that would answer my question. Those are the hardest things to deal with on a set is the weather conditions, when you're filming outside. If you're inside in climate control, it's fantastic.
Right. Now you worked with very, very, very frigid temperatures. You worked with very, very, very scorching hot temperatures. Have you ever worked on set with possible cicadas for our movie?
No.
That's what we're kind of. We have the cicadas all in. I live in Maryland right now because I work in Maryland, but we have them all in Maryland now. I heard they're starting to pop up in Pennsylvania. I'm like, please, Lord, don't let it come when we're filming.
No. Yeah, well, that's one of those things you just throw in there. I know. I was on a set, Bridge of the Doomed. And these movies have not been released yet. They're and through the lot walks a mom elk and her 2 babies. Ooh. Right through the set. And I was like, well, that really makes it real, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yep. We don't know what the cicada situation is like. We obviously didn't write the script for that, but we can't work around that. Like, they're going to be loud. You're going to hear them. So they're probably going to jump
background noise
at that point. So we're going to be either improvising or working them into the script if they show up during filming. We're gonna have to at that point, because we're gonna be filming in the woods to begin with. So I mean,
well, in your synopsis for your movie too, that would fit right in.
It really
right.
Would.
It's just another natural
happening of what's happening around the world. Another plague.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Exactly. So you did mention you are a horror fan. So what like horror movie got you started in with the genre?
Salem's Lot,
Stephen
without
King.
a doubt. That's my
Yeah.
number one. I think, geez, I'd have to think back. 13 when Jaws came out, and I saw Jaws, and I was so
75.
scared. What's that?
Were you talking about the year?
Yes.
1975, I think it was.
Okay. So
Yes.
I was 10 when I
Okay.
saw it.
Nice.
And I wouldn't go in the water.
You're actually doing something this summer with Jaws where you get to sit outside at night in this like, I don't know if it's like a lake or something, on a raft watching Jaws on the big screen
Wow.
at some spots. So that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it
I
would.
can hear it now. Shark!
And of course, I'm an 80s girl.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of, you know, the 80s movies that just and what Scream, right?
Yeah,
I love the Scream movies.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Friday the 13th Halloween fan. Those are I
Oh,
grew up
yeah.
on them.
Oh, Halloween. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. One of my
Yeah.
favorites is Halloween.
Yep. Jamie Lee Curtis wrote the foreword to my first trivia book, Halloween trivia book I wrote.
Oh,
That was really
cool.
exciting. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. So yeah, she those are my. I grew up watching those. Like I was born in '89, but I grew up like those were my things. Like I watched those, and those were something I loved ever since. Now, which Stephen King book and which Stephen King movie is your favorite?
Wow, that's a tough one.
I didn't know you were a Stephen King fan, so I had to throw that question out there.
That's a tough one. Well, I mean, my favorite movie was Salem's Lot.
Okay.
Okay. So as far as the books go, Carrie.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so many
But
classics.
he's just an amazing man.
Yeah.
And I really want to meet him, you know, like be able to talk to him, like meet him. And he's really hard to find.
Yeah.
He does do events, and they're always advertised like last minute, because he's someone I would actually fly somewhere to be able to go to an event, you know, to get a book signing.
Yeah.
And just get to talk to him for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I know. I forget who it was, like on one of the Facebook groups. I read that somebody lived like maybe I don't know, it was like a mile away from where he lives or where he grew up. It was in Maine. And he ended up like she would always, like when she was growing up, she would always see him, like because he was still living there at the time. She would always see him like walking. I guess I don't know if it was like to the coffee shop, or was she working at a coffee shop or something like that, but she would always see Stephen King there. And then like randomly she would stop seeing him is because his books like started becoming really, really popular. And he just moved, I guess either moved out of the area or he just didn't want to be found or something like that.
Well, he had some issues. Actually, I was at his house last year before the pandemic. And they've decided to make his house into a retreat, a writer's retreat. But he did get hit by a car or a truck, and he was walking one day, and he was out of commission like for a couple years.
Wow.
But he actually had break-ins at his house.
Oh, wow.
Because it's really like in the center of Bangor where his home is. So, you know, you get to be to that level, and you're going to have some security issues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
even in the sleepy community of Bangor, Maine, you know?
And it's funny because I know a lot of his books are based on his hometown, and especially like Derry, Maine is based on his hometown of Bangor, Maine, basically. Yeah. Which is really interesting, you know, that you're from this small town and you become this big, you know, famous, you know, person, you know. It's like that's who's from here, you know.
And he does such a good job portraying how Mainers are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his movies and series, like Haven.
Yeah.
You know, he really in the series The Dead Zone. you really put across how Mainers are. He could do that really well.
Yeah, and it really takes a special kind of talent to it's not like it's one thing to portray it by an actor portraying the role and the setting to set it up that way and all that, but it's another thing to actually write it in a book or write it in a script that is unbelievable that anybody can visualize what they're reading, and it makes you imagine what is on the paper, what's being written. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a special talent to do that.
Oh yeah, and he is. He's
He
the
really
king,
is.
right?
He's
Yeah.
Stephen King. He's Stephen King.
He is the king.
Absolutely. So, so what about 72 made you say, like, I want to be part of this film? Because I know you said the synopsis, but
When I read the synopsis,
okay,
yes,
that was
because I'm like, it's a I can say that, right? Yeah, it's a pandemic kind of, horror movie, and I'm like, okay, well, this is real,
right,
right?
exactly.
We're just coming out of that, so
Yep.
I thought it was a really great concept.
Right. I know some people I spoke to, they said the synopsis. Other people said the eye, like the graphic of the eye, visually drew them into
it did. It did. Yes, the photo. It did. Yeah, and it's funny when you get on or whether it's Kickstarter or Indiegogo a lot and go through things and you think to yourself, wow, they didn't do their art very well. Right. If you're trying to draw people in. So, but I'm on there a lot. So I guess I noticed that maybe a little bit more, but no, that was what made me click on it. Yeah. And then I read the synopsis and went, wow. And then I messaged you.
We got a response back in a couple of seconds.
It didn't take long at all.
Yeah, the rest is history. So the last question I got for you, so any projects? I know we spoke that you're in Night of the Tommyknocker, Scream Bloody Murder, Arena Wars, Werewolf Cabal, of course 72. Any other projects that you have coming up that you would like to promote to the listening and viewing audience?
Z Dead End.
Okay.
We have coming up. Robert Restro is directing that. Wrote it, directed.
Mm-hmm.
So then again, right back in my genre. And let's see, I got to do 2 parts in that movie. So the first part was I was a fighter pilot, which we've already filmed at Bill Diamond Studios over in Castleton on the Hudson. Okay. It's a town over in New York State. But it was great because I had the helmet covering this area. Yeah. So you don't know it's me as the pilot. Nice. And so the second part, I actually just got days added on because I'm with Kane Hodder over in Castleton. And I think that's 2 days before I film with you. Okay. They got added in just like 2 days ago. Yes. And from there, then we're filming the rest of the movie in Burbank. Awesome. We're renting like a movie set town to film the rest of the movie. But what else? I do have a comedy series coming up called The Mom Squad, and it's like a Get Smart kind of funny, right? Yes. And I'm looking forward to that. I do, and I think I have a total of like maybe 5 projects left this year, and then I'm done for the year. Awesome. I'll be done for the year after October 1st.
Awesome. That's great. So, like you have your busy schedule.
I do. And the pandemic helped with that, right? Because I was flying through the pandemic. It was so strange to go through airports and nobody's there. And there's like 10 people on a plane. I'm like, wow, this is kind of awesome, really, Oh my God. But just on the movie sets, having to go through COVID testing. Yeah. Is a big thing. And I'm so thankful for that because I've been on sets where they caught people before they came in because they did the testing outside. Right. And then you go off and you stand by yourself for the 20 minutes, 25 minutes and wait for the results. Yeah. And the people never knew they had it. So, but when I was on set for the longer movies, you're getting tested every 2 days. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very thankful for that. And it's a hardship on these independent filmmakers to have to pay for this, for the amount of money that it adds
Yeah,
on to the production.
absolutely. It really does. It really does.
So, you know, hopefully with all this, things will ease up on that,
Yeah,
and things will turn the tide for us on
absolutely.
that
Well,
end.
thank you, Lisa, for joining me. I'm sorry to
Oh,
cut you off,
thank
but we
you.
have because I guess when we added your other account in, it bundled us down to 5 more minutes left of the meeting. Just
Oh,
to see
okay.
account, which I'm like, that it popped up. It just popped up for me, but I am sorry for that. But I do thank you for joining me. This has been an honor. I can't
Oh,
wait to go
thank
look at it.
you. I can't wait to meet you all. I'm so excited for the
I'm really
movie.
excited too. It's gonna be fun. Once Carl locks in the like your character and everything like that, I'm sure he'll reach out to you as well,
Excellent.
and all that. So and I'm dealing with the contract side of things, so I'll get you any of the contracts, the NDAs, and all that stuff that you need to sign.
Excellent.
Yep. I thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Stay safe. All right.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.